Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog coming to you tonight talking about business credit is just jet fuel. That's right, people. Sorry to burst your bubble. It is just jet fuel. Now, jet fuel can be amazing, can take you off. Plane goes faster, amazing, all these things, right? But also, have you ever noticed when your plane's coming back, sometimes the plane is too heavy, so they got to drop some of this fuel, right? So again, when we think about $70,000 in business credit cards, $100,000 in business lines of credit from different banks, I know that excites some of you guys and you're ready to go. But we have to kind of build the deck, right? The deck is the business credit, the vendor's line of credit, your personal credit. All these things play a part. Now, yes, can you get these things without a personal credit? Sure, but it'll slow the ship down. You'll have less jet fuel at the beginning, and you'll have more at the end if you just do it without personal guarantee. But if you do it with personal guarantee, then all of a sudden you have the pick me up to kind of go faster. Now, here's the deal. A lot of you are saying, Erica, I just want to know about business credit. I want to know about all that other stuff. That's the key. It's all about mindset, right? Because once you read the first page of any book, if it's a really good book, you want to know more. So business credit may be exciting and interesting, and having a $70,000 credit card makes your mind go, woo, but it's just jet fuel. Because what happens with jet fuel? It rockets you to the next level. Now, depending on where your mindset's at, depending on your results, there's a lot of people who have poor money management habits, just going out, eating out, shopping when they want, spending whatever, and when the bill comes, the bill comes. Really, I want you, by the time you are talking and by the time me or you have set up an appointment or consulted, you already have the plan, right? Like, your plan is to branch out in your city. Your plan is to own property where you live. Your plan is to have a management company that's behind you that can help you. You should have a plan, right? It always sounds good to get more money. I don't know who it doesn't sound good to have more money with. I mean, can y'all tell me anybody don't want more money? But the key is not about getting the money, is what to do with it. Because I know a man who literally he got some land. I can't remember what he did with it. Oh yeah, he got $100,000 business credit card, right? With Amex, like I think it was American Express. And he literally opened up a funeral home. He opened up a corner store in South Carolina, and he had a little land with a few trailers on it. Well, then he didn't pay the bill. So you're sitting there like, dude, like, years later, years have gone by, you've had these stores, they've kind of done well, but when you wanted more credit, you couldn't because you have this giant card holding over the back of your head of your business because you didn't use business credit appropriately. So that's why I'm such a big pusher of, listen, you guys, I love working with you guys, I love helping you guys, but you gotta have a plan, gotta have the plan to pay it, and you gotta have a plan to pay it back. With any deal, even if you go to your bank right now and say, listen, I'm going to buy this piece of property, the bank is like, yeah, that's great, I want to give you the money for the property, but how are you going to pay me back? Okay, here's one way. I can hold it and rent it out. I can hold it and have a lease option where the person can actually be a buyer in a few years, or I could just clean up and rent it out and sell it. Right? So now you've given the bank 3 different options, so they don't feel like, oh man, we're going to have to come back and get this house that we particularly don't want, that's not in great shape, away from this particular person we loan money to. Now, the reason I'm always steering you guys towards smaller banks is the smaller banks are your friend. They are the people putting in the work. They are the people where you can talk to a vice president in like the same day. They're the people who are like, to keep this small bank going, we've got to find great business people. So that's why I'm a lover of small banks. Secondly, or third, whatever we're at, what's the plan, right? We talked about what's the plan. So what's your number? What's your freedom number, right? I think y'all have heard that me talk about freedom number before, is what is all your bills right now? And I always stress for people to get as low as possible. What's your car note? What's your rent? What's your everything? Write it down. And when you call me and you don't know, that's even scarier, because if you don't know your numbers, and some of you hate your job and you want to leave your job, what can I do? I can't tell you to leave your job. Some of you may get a $100,000 credit card and could literally just spend the next 90 days focusing on buying real estate, buying rentals, and having things that make money for you guys, like grow your online businesses or grow your actual physical service business, your construction company, your house flipping business. But I can't tell you to do that if I don't know where you are and you don't know where you are. So help me help you by you guys at least knowing how much goes out a month, your bills. You know, I know people who get email their bank statement every month. Now, why do they do that? Oh, it's convenient, Erica. I don't want more mail at my house. But guess what happens? You let things slide. You'll go back and look, and there's been charges on your account for months that you didn't know about because you let something slide. I love checking different accounts on every other day or daily, because I'll have things hit me like service. What is it? That thing called Daily Harvest, the smoothies, or audible.com, or somebody hitting me. And I want to know, hey, wait, make sure I got this and using this. Make sure it's a service I'm using. Make sure it's something I want. And a lot of times, hey, Dexter Williams, a lot of times what happens is people aren't even paying attention. So how can I help you grow your business if you don't even know where you're at personally? And then if I ask you what's your credit score, some people, I've been on the phone like 7 or 8 times today. If you don't know where your credit score is, before you jump on the phone with me, go on creditchecktotal.com, pay $1 for this month, and go get all 3 of your credit scores. So at least you have an ideal. I remember going to go get a car and I went, that's bullcrap. I know my credit score. Don't play me, right? And it was like a totally different conversation, and it was kind of funny. But that's the key, right? We got to know where you are. We got to know where you want to go, so we can aim you there. I can't aim you there if you don't know where you're at and you don't know where you're trying to go. So another thing, vacations. I talked to someone and they're like, I really need a vacation. And I want to go, sometimes I don't get a vacation right when I want to. Because right now it's going to be January through March. It's like my business time and my business, as far as business credit, as far as helping people buy tax liens. Right now is the hottest season ever for tax liens, is December. And a lot of you don't understand that. December is when a lot of people buy. January is a lot of times they make their money back. Now there's different states, different programs. So, some states are in different time zones. Some are doing January, some are doing March, some are doing April. A lot are doing December. November, December. So it's a busy time for me. And so I've made more money in my business, but I want to give you guys quality, and I want you guys to watch this channel and when we get on the phone, you're ready to go. I've got clients right now who are like, Erica, it's been so good working with you. We want you to join our real estate investment team. And I'm all like, you know what? You've worked so hard personally. You've put so much money up yourself. You've built your credit up so well. I want to join on your team. I'm glad to work with you. I'm glad I have built up future friends that are going to go to seminars and meetings and consults and look at apartment complexes to buy. That's what this is about. Like if you're on here, you're watching this channel and we end up working together, man, heck yeah. Thank you, D Bloke, for enjoying the show. What is that? Dexter Williams. How I heard you can convince the bank to skip OFAC searches. Is that true? Now, it just depends, Dexter. Who's your bank, right? Because if there's some banks here in Texas, I'll put it this way. If I go in there and you've been working a line of credit with them for a while, a lot of those guys let you just tap that line. So it's a lot of it is getting the relationship with the bank, is actually getting your foot in the bank. And now that bank goes, oh, Dexter, that's you? Oh, you run $3 or $4 grand or 10 grand a month through our accounts? That's fine. So what you would do, Dexter, is here's the deal. Dexter, let's say you have your business bank account. Let's keep it simple, right? My friend Jeff, I always talk about him, Jeff Services. He had a business bank account, went and got his DBA out of the county, went and got a business bank account. He sent all his Instacart money there and his Lyft money there, right? So let's say you at work right now at your job, change your direct deposit and send 1/4 of your direct deposit to that bank account. Or something, a sliver, right? Like $100. I don't know. Depends on your job. And now for months on end, it shows that account gets money. Now they don't know particularly where the money's coming from. They're just doing an overview of your account, and now your account looks active. I mean, you could do the same thing with a collateral business line or equipment line. There's different things. Miss Princess, you know what you can do? You go ahead and hit that button. Usually I have below consult. I have different price ranges. I have like 10 minutes for $10. I've got $50 for 30 minutes. And the reason I do them is I love talking to you guys and I love like connecting, because a lot of you have really great ideals and it's like, you're so close. It makes me sad. I'm like, you're so close to the goalpost. Just hit it. So yes, D Bloke, you could open a bank account with Bank of America. If I were you, my number one thing I would do is I would go look. I don't know what city or state you're in, but I would go find the smallest bank in that area with the DBA, which is a doing business as, or something very simpler, depending on your area, and open up a business bank account and just send all your direct deposit there. Because what's going to happen is 5 months from now, when you want to apply or whatever, and you have a bank statement, you can go to your bank and ask for a bank statement, and they'll say, this month D Bloke got $1,000 a month in the account. They don't have to say where, they just say that's how much you got a month, right? And it could be a statement from your bank, a typed up statement, and you can send it off and get business credit. Just depends on what your business is, D Bloke, what you want to do with your business on the side. Any other questions while I'm here? I'm gonna catch a movie tonight with some friends, but go ahead and hit me up with any questions you guys have while I'm here. But yeah, so the key to all of this is like having a plan, right? And Fort Lauderdale, D Bloke, there's a ton of banks in Florida. I have tons of investor friends in Tampa and Winter Haven, which is interesting. But I know that's probably lower. Fort Lauderdale is probably lower. But yeah, just pull out your phone book. I know it's going to sound crazy. Go to your phone book, the old yellow pages, and look for banks. And now you want to look on that list for banks that's like 1 or 2 branches, maybe 2 or 4. And then once you get those, I want you to go to their website. And you want a cheap looking website. And this sounds silly. This sounds so counterintuitive. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but you want the one with the cheap ass looking website. Cheap. It looks cheap. And you're going to be like, why am I going to sign with that bank? Because that's where the money is. A lot of these smaller banks get money from FDIC, just like the big banks, and they've got to give money out to loans or they will be shut down. So they have money to give. Dexter Williams, Houston, Texas. Come on, Dexter, Houston. Man, you guys are flooded with little tiny banks all over the place. I'm here in Austin, Texas, and we are flooded with all kind of farmers banks and ranchers banks and you know what in Georgetown, and they're great people to work with. Houston's a great spot. Any other questions? Any other questions? Keeping it open for you guys. Don't feel free to message me. Okay. Hi, Erica. Okay. Yep, Lucas, I did send you the invoice. Send it to your email, and you just hit PayPal, and we'll be ready to go. We'll get rocking. Lucas is going to be rocking and rolling in New York. I'm very proud of Lucas. We're going to get going. Yeah, D-Bloke, share us whatever type of business you have outside of Uber. That'd be cool. But listen, again, business credit is just jet fuel. Like right now, I can name off banks that I like using. Our credit unions, Tony Jackson, our credit union. Usually credit unions are a better deal than regular banks. You know, my favorite is maybe Federal. I mean, like it just is one of my favorites. One of the ones I can just, hey everybody, you know, just it's a very easy one. I love working with. They've worked with some of my clients. I ended up having a client get like $20,000 in a business credit card and another $15,000 in a line of credit in the same day. So I just like them. It just depends on your city, man. How can Roth IRAs and money market accounts make the return? Okay, so here's the deal with your bank. You can even keep it simpler than that, Dexter. I had a bank account that I wasn't paying much attention to, and I remember going and getting $5 bank certificates, right, for 3 months out, right? And this is when this was 3 years ago, maybe, when I was delivering pizzas, and I would put like, you know, I'd have like 30 of them. I had like $35 bank certificates, which at the end of the day, that was nothing but $150. But the bank was like bending over backwards. Miss Williams, can we help you? Is there something you need? Is there something you want some help with? And that was $150. But they saw that I was making an effort to get these little bank certificates for the future. And so my account, when you're a person at the little teller thing and you're doing your stuff, pulling it up like this, I don't know if you can see on my hands, but if you're pulling it up, it looks like I got like boom, 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 boom. It looks like I got accounts on top of accounts, right? But you know, you probably can see they ain't number $5 bank certificates, but you can see it, right? Thanks, Dexter. Try to be adorable. So D-Bloke, on that question, what are you trying to do later down the road? Or you just aren't certain yet? I'm waiting on D-Bloke. Sorry, but yeah. So you know, again, credit unions to me are better. Smaller banks are better. There's a thing called farmers banks. If you ever see a farmer bank, head to that bank. They do big business. They do $1 million land businesses. They, you know, land deals. They don't do just small deals. I remember sitting in a bank here in Lakeway, Texas, which is the suburb of Austin, Texas. very wealthy. The guy and me in the lobby, the guy in the lobby is doing $1 million house deal. And it's just sitting there as calm as possible, just chilling, like, just chilling. And the bank is like, oh, can we get you anything? Can we get you coffee? And they're talking to me like they're talking to him, no different. And I remember going to the office and talking to the vice president. And the vice president said, let me send you over to the president, right? Because he had already finished with the $1 million house couple. And he was like, who told you to come ask for me? And I thought it was hilarious because I was like, nobody told me to ask for you. I've just come here because you're a small bank, right? So, yeah, go where small banks is where the money is. Sorry, D-Bloke, what is a business ideal you're trying to do? Or is there an ideal for your business outside of just being a paramedic? Or is there something in the future? Did you want to do something in healthcare services, home healthcare, anything like that? Because there's a ton out there, tons of stuff out there to do, especially if you're in Florida with all the old people. Yeah, farmers banks are super real. Ranchers banks, I know these names sound silly, but farmers banks, ranchers banks, mechanics banks. That's a popular name too, depending on where you're at. Usually on the East Coast, it'll say mechanics bank, but what it used to mean was like if you were in a factory worker, they used to call those. So if you had me to rank banks, I would go local bank, credit union, big banks. And I mean, I would even do, local banks and credit unions are basically even. Like, let me put it to you like this. I have one client who has 20 bank accounts. Now, some of you are going to be like, 20 bank accounts? Yes, 20 bank accounts. And he has a business line of credit at each one. Now, is that just a work in itself? Is that like a work in itself? Heck yeah. Like, he has a binder and a folder and he keeps his statements in check and he has a CPA that he pays a certain amount about. But it is important for him to have all those lines because, very soon he's investing in, a fourplex, and there's another deal we're looking at for him. But at the end of the day, it's a process. So to expect one bank to give you $1 million is not necessarily true. What usually happens is you'll have 2 or 3 banks, right? 2 or 3 banks, and then the one bank does more than the other 2, right? So that's usually how it happens. Mm-hmm. So there is so much money in assisted living for older people. You could go to your city's website, and probably the city development page has funding for them. There's all kind of funding for elderly housing and turning boarding houses into elderly housing. Lenders Tree is only in the U.S. Any suggestions for U.S. territories? So the thing, Tony Jackson, about U.S. territories, you still have opportunity to go online, right? So you still have the opportunity to pick smaller banks, right? To pick a smaller bank, but they have it online, right? So it's kind of that deal. Like you can go to and have direct deposit go there. Let's say you can't physically go in person there, but you could set up $100 direct deposit or $50 direct deposit. There's ways to get around that, right? Your thing you're worried about is having the debit card access and things come to your house, probably. Yeah. Deep looks up camera. Well, yeah, there's just, there is dude, there's a lot of opportunity out there. The thing with business credit, what I talk about, even with tax liens, when I was doing the video on tax liens and people have been asking about them, tax liens are just a vehicle. They're just a vehicle. Like at the end of the day, when I'm talking to you guys and I'm like, let's set up your portfolio, like Lending Club, Prosper, some real estate crowdfunding sites you can be putting some money into, put some money in some stocks. You can put some money in some bank certificates if you want, just to have it there in that bank, not necessarily for the returns. Because I get 13% with Lending Club at this point right now. But at the point is you should have this stack, right? You should actually, if you're watching this video, go print out SBA.gov financial statement and look at all the different things you can fill in. Even when you do your IRS returns this year, look at all the different things, ways you can make income. Look at the front sheet. Look at it. So there's all these different parts where you can have money in investments, right? And then at that point, once you fill out that block, once you put 100 here, 100 there, 100 here, 100 there, and you get more money in, your mind's already thinking about how to fill those slots up. Your mind's already thinking, man, I could put more money in lending club and get more returns. I can put more money in bank certificate and get more returns. I could go buy 2 more real estate properties and get more returns. The mindset is the ultimate thing, because if I give you a $70,000 credit card and you and your wife go on a vacation, you and your wife go buy clothes, you and your wife take your friends up to eat, and then you and your wife are him-hawing about buying a $50,000 property because you already spent like half the credit card money. And there's ways to get money off credit cards, not always what we want to use, but just the different things. We may have to use the credit card to help us do some remodeling. You know, that your mindset has already spent half your money in half your project, so you just be taking longer to get to your goal. So all right. Oh yeah, Dexter is very true. D-Bloke, if you go out and say, listen, I want to put together a syndication to buy a assisted living business, I mean, you can even go on franchises.com right now. You can go ahead and look at franchises.com right now and look at assisted living setups for like 25,000, 50,000. It's a big money game. If you already have like plans for assisted living, like a professional put together document plan, and go to a bank and go, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing, you're going to get a really close number. And you tell them what side of town you want to be on and the amount of space. Like I'm talking about, if you even go halfway and just get an architect to write you out a small space place, right? Small, not that many thousands of square feet place design and a mock-up business plan, it'll be crazy, right? So, okay, D-Block, I'm already invested in Lending Club, but what do you think about Crown Fundrise? Exactly. Fundrise is very nice. I think Fundrise and like 4 other ones that I like, you can drop about $1,000 in, and they treat it like a REIT, right? Hakeem Bello, where can I find cheap land in North Carolina? Man, all over North Carolina. Where are you at? Where are you at right now, Hakeem? Like, I'm from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, and I can drive over to Hope County, Parkton, Hope Mills. I can drive all over that bad boy and pick up some 1 to 2 acres. It's kind of what we already do. My family does, and we put trailers on them. And if we don't put trailers on them, then we turn them into farms. Pecan trees and some bees, and it's farm. Dexter Williams, I heard that if your credit line is too large, banks will get scared if you're trying to buy a house because they feel you max out your credit cards. No, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. What happens is your credit line maxed out already is the key, right? So let's say you have, because really at the end of the day, when you buy a house, and let's say you have 2 credit cards with $100,000 on, right? And your bank's like, well, what are you planning on doing with that? And you set out like a little 1-page plan, which I put a part of people's bank book here in my program. And you tell them, oh, this is for my business, but I will still be a full-time employee. They don't got a problem with that. A lot of people are trying to do fast closings, especially at this time of year. Mm-hmm. So, Dexter, there's nothing wrong with owning the single family. And then, honestly, when you own a house, let's say you love the house, you just love it. So you don't want to move. Some people I've seen move every single year. And if they bought a house every single year, or ones that were lower in their budget that they could put a down payment for, in 4 years, they'd have 4 houses on their 5th year, they have a 5th house. Charlotte. Okay, so you're in Charlotte. So your goal in Charlotte is to get 45 minutes out, right? If that. You don't even need to do 45 minutes. You can do 25 minutes. Depends on which way you want to go. Do you want to go to Concord? Do you want to go Indian Trail? Do you want to go Hickory? I wouldn't want to go with Hickory, but do you want to go Rock Hill, South Carolina? There's some cheap properties in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but you got to think about it. A lot of people are driving from Rock Hill, South Carolina to Charlotte to work. So it's that kind of deal. Like right now, Hakeem, in Charlotte, I just had a client buy a duplex for $89,000. And it wasn't on a crappy side of town. I remember going over there. What's the name of that street? It's not crappy. I just know that. I lived in a hoodish close to the football stadium one time in Charlotte. And I was like, ooh, this area is getting regentrified, but it's a little scary. Any other questions, folks? Any other questions? I'm going to go catch my movie here shortly. I'm going to go see Jackie about the president's wife. I will have a vacancy in my fourplex soon on the bottom floor soon. So what I would do, Lucas, on the fourplex, on the bottom floor, I would see, I mean, I wouldn't want to really do Section 8, but I would see if you could make it low income somehow, or you could get some money from the government depending on where it is, right? Depending on where it is. Hakeem, doesn't matter. Well, it just depends. Like, what do you want to do with the land, right? Do you want to build a fourplex on it and it's nice and brick style? Do you want to build a duplex on it and it's just a 2 townhouse style brick house? It depends on what you want to do with the land. Because you can go on LoopNet right now and go look for stuff around Charlotte. LoopNet.com. Oh, that's what I meant. You can go to Realtor.com right now. Now you could also go hop on Craigslist.com and be like, I'm looking for land. Straight up. There's people. Man, 1099 is not a job. 1099 is a contract, right? So I wrote that whole book, The Rise of the 1099 Economy, is because that's what it is. It's like, it's all contract. You just like, there's so many, like right now, there's some of the hotels industry, Marriott, where you can work from home for like $15 an hour. Some people are like, man, I want to do that. But it's you at home in your pajamas. So, but later, Tony Jackson. All right. Well, look, yo. Sorry, everybody. It's 8:45. I gotta go catch this movie. I gotta go get in line, even though I got a ticket. So, but yeah, we'll hit back on that another day. 1099 is everywhere. You mentioned a lot of cheap properties in North Carolina. Can you describe rental demands in there? It depends, D-Bloke, on the area, man. Oh, it depends on the area. Like, we can be in Raleigh and Charlotte and have whole different prices. We could be in Wilmington or Fayetteville and have whole different prices. Like right now in my hometown, I could probably go pick up a $55,000 house, brick, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 1.5-bath kind of deal, and rent that bad boy out for $850. And so I mean $850, $900, and that's if the kitchen's nice, right? I could go as low as 25,000, but it's gonna be on the rougher side of town a little bit, and I'm gonna rent it out for 675, 750. If I did Section 8, it'd be 850, but I don't got time for Section 8. So, but all right, D-Bloke, we'll hit that another day. Everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. If you guys want to speak to me, consulting packages are always below. Thank you for coming out tonight. You guys were pretty fun. So I'll see you guys later. Hey, I'll let you know if that movie was awesome. It will be later.